Frieza is one of the most refreshing additions in the Tournament of Power. Dare I say that his performance itself is why so many perhaps even unknowingly rate this arc so highly. His cunning one-liners, deceptive nature, combat, and well, his aura, make him an incredibly unique member of the Universe 7 team. And today I'd like to explore what made Frieza so memorable, from his introduction all the way to the final wish made to the Super Dragon Balls. Well, let's start with the fact Frieza shouldn't even be in the tournament itself after Majin Buu misses a tournament again by falling into a deep sleep. Goku shocks everyone by informing them that he intends to replace the missing member of their team with the former Emperor of the Universe. Now, to be honest, I'd much rather have seen Majin Buu in the Tournament of Power, but that's a video for another time. It is still quite a shocking reveal that Goku would suggest such a thing, despite their long history. So, Goku goes to hell to recruit the tyrant Frieza back from the dead to join his team, and we are immediately treated to quite a subtly funny intro.
Now out with it. What brings you to my tree?
Goku explains the situation and the tournament rules. In response, Frieza menacingly asks if he's allowed to kill, just for funsies. This resolve to have a fetish for killing no matter what is what makes Frieza such a dangerous potential teammate. Frieza is disappointed to learn that he in fact cannot kill, but eventually is convinced to join the team for the promise that he will be revived and join the living once more. Upon Frieza's temporary revival, he immediately punches Goku in the stomach, reigniting old tension. Meanwhile, an ambush from an opposing universe is brewing outside. Their goal is to eliminate Frieza before he can even reach the tournament. Now, I'm going to skip over this part of the arc because I want to get to Frieza in the actual tournament, and I do plan on including the events building up to the tourney for all members of the team in a separate video. So if you'd like to see that, please consider liking the video and subscribing. It would really help me out. Frieza touches down on Capsule Corp with his signature grin, making several team members almost wince in fear. My favourite part here is that Vegeta teases Frieza for the fact that he has a halo on his head, signifying that he is indeed still dead and only granted a temporary reprieve. But Frieza's response here is what makes this dialogue so compelling and badass.
Thank you, but we both know it would look even more fetching on a prince. Shall I give you one?
Beerus is quick to abate tensions as much as he can, and after all team members hold hands, I say we're about ready to start the tournament. But wait, just before the tournament kicks off, a very interesting first time meeting happens between Frieza and his 6th universe counterpart, Frost. This is the first time, canonically at least, we have seen Frieza interact with someone of his race, apart from his father King Cold, of course. Frieza, as unpredictable as he is, offers a sly team-up with the opposing team's Frost behind everyone's back. This actually ends up being a red herring, but reminds the audience that Frieza is indeed an antagonist that's only here for his own selfish desire. He's not here to be a nice, honest, and helpful member of the team. But when you're watching this for the first time, you don't actually know what Frieza is thinking, which keeps you on your toes. Just before the Grand Minister kicks things off, Gohan, the captain of the team, tries to ask the more indifferent members to stick to the strategy and stay together. Frieza's response is that he digests what Gohan is saying, but ultimately we know that the tyrant is going to do whatever he pleases. Frieza then remarks that he's enjoying the change of scenery, from singing fairies and teddy bears to the palpable bloodlust in the air, which he describes as refreshing, clearly an environment in which he will thrive. The tournament begins, and Frieza, mere seconds into the battle royale, already downs 2 opposing team members, doing so while sparking fear in their eyes. In fact, Roselle, who oddly looks a lot like a shadow dragon, is so intimidated by the tyrant that he runs off the edge, eliminating himself. Tell me another fighter in the whole tournament that has this much unequivocal aura. After the first universe is eliminated, one of my favourite monologues occur in the entire arc. Frieza finally lays his eyes on the Omni Kings, and casually calls the literal highest gods in the entire multiverse
Brightly colored little pipsqueaks.
He does not seem to be intimidated by them at all. even after they've erased an entire universe in front of him. He seems to relish over the fact that one day he believes he will reign over even them. There does not seem to be anyone, god or mortal, that Lord Frieza seems to accept being under, highlighting his endless quest to evolve past different monarchies, to that end that he alone will be left at the top. Which kind of reminds me of a different tyrannical character from Bleach that is also highly popular. Frieza then goes on to eliminate yet another character, which brings his elimination count to 3, still very early in the tournament. He also calls Vegeta here a good dog, perhaps an homage to the days Vegeta used to serve under him. Now, it's quite a long time till we see Frieza again in the tournament, until he spots Gohan struggling with a contestant from Yardrat, who, as we know, are masters of instant transmission. Gohan seems to be struggling to keep up, but Frieza finally intervenes to come to Goku-san's aid. Before helping Gohan, he insults him and tells him that he failed to inherit any of his daddy's skills, and savagely asks Gohan if his father is as disappointed as he is. Frieza actually in fact lets Jimizu fight Gohan again, which the Yardratian finds amusing, but quickly intervenes again, saying he got bored. The fight begins, and Frieza quickly gains the upper hand, taunting his opponent by saying he is too reliant on instant transmission. Jimizu desperately tries to create distance by executing instant transmission again, and well...
As I previously stated, there's nothing to it!
After rendering him immobile on the ground, he then picks him up by his neck using his tail, and gives him the Vegeta treatment, a potential callback to the Namek saga. This display of torturous violence again highlights just how unforgiving Frieza really is. Jimizu is then eliminated, bringing Frieza's elimination count to 4. He then goes back to undermining Gohan and blaming him for being so casual, saying if he had only turned Super Saiyan, he would have no problem dealing with that fight. Frost interrupts the tension and then seemingly teams up with Frieza to take out the Saiyan out of mutual understanding. And at this point, if you are watching this for the first time, you feel betrayed by Frieza's actions as soon as he starts surprisingly attack Gohan. But it's all a ruse, a clever plan by the conniving Emperor to make Frost drop his guard and ultimately eliminate him. After Frost warps to the bench, Frieza calls Frost a
second-rate dilettante,
explaining that it would make no sense for him to team up with someone so weak. He probably just thinks Frost is too weak to actually help him with his nefarious plan for Universe Monarchy. Later on in the tournament, Goku is in combat with the main threat of the entire arc, Jiren. After seeing that his normal attacks isn't working, he opts to use the Spirit Bomb. Surprisingly here, Frieza actually aids in building the Spirit Bomb's power, sacrificing his energy despite having bad memories of it prior, after the very same attack was used on him long ago. After Ultra Instinct is activated, Frieza seems very intrigued upon learning more about the technique by listening to the chattering gods around him. And after Goku eventually loses his state and the battle, immediately Frieza takes him away behind a pillar where no one can see them. The duality of this scene is just perfect. Long ago, Goku was the one giving Frieza energy, but now roles are reversed. Uncharacteristically, Frieza shares his energy with Goku, his reasoning perhaps being that he needs Goku to fight for him with this new power, almost like being a puppet master. The next time we see Frieza in the tournament is fresh after Cabba, a Saiyan from Universe 6 who has a bond with Vegeta, has ascended to Super Saiyan 2 and eliminated someone else. Frieza approaches the Saiyan respectfully, mockingly asking for a duel. He quickly swaps false respect to devilry, dominating Cabba, who is way out of his league, and threatening his Saiyan sisters. A not so gentle reminder that when you drop a sinister antagonist in an 80-man battle royale, he will not exactly fight like a respectful martial artist like the majority of other participants. Cabba is enraged by the threat. Determined to protect his teammates, he fires a desperate blast at Frieza, who transforms into Golden Frieza, only to display how out of reach Cabba is to his own power. The Saiyan is then eliminated, and before making this video I was not quite sure why Frieza targeted Cabba specifically, apart from the fact that he abhors Saiyans. But it could have possibly been to aggravate Vegeta, perhaps to push his teammate on to fight harder, or simply fuel the bad blood between them. Frieza then tries to uphold his promise to Cabba by trying to attack Caulifla and Kale, but they are already fighting Goku. Playfully, Frieza then tries to attack Goku, who sees it coming. Ultimately, Frieza backs off in hopes of enjoying this theatre in front of him of monkeys fighting each other. Hysterically, Katopestra, a character perhaps inspired by the design of Power Rangers, distracts Frieza, but Frieza is so off-putted by his strange behaviour that he actually just lets him go. After Goku loses Ultra Instinct a second time, Frieza again reaffirms that he needs Goku to heal quickly so he can continue puppeteering him into fighting on his behalf. Later on, a recharged Goku and his allies are fighting Agnilasa, a fusion of multiple robotic combatants and their scientists. Goku is actually just about to go off the edge before Frieza rescues him. Relieved, Goku asks Frieza for his aid to help him and his team defeat Agnilasa, where Frieza's response is to ask for the magic word, mockingly treating Goku like a kid on purpose. Agnilasa interrupts and attacks Frieza, aggravating him, hating the fact that he picked to attack himself instead of Goku. Potentially because the monster believes Frieza is easier prey, an assumption that Frieza doesn't take lightly with his ego. After transforming into Golden Frieza yet again, he ultimately does help the entire team deal with the threat of Agnilasa. After the monster's elimination, only 2 universes are left in the tournament, Frieza's own and Universe 11. The final showdown commences, with Frieza taking the responsibility of dealing with the speedy Dyspo. He undermines his power, calling him only a master of retreat, and that his techniques are too predictable and minuscule. Frieza seems unfazed by Dyspo's weak assault. Despite that, however, Dyspo does gain the advantage momentarily and tries to finish Frieza. Frieza drops to his knees after the attack, but it's all just an act to trap Dyspo yet again, though he actually releases Dyspo from his grasp, and what follows is another attempt to betray his own team. He offers to help Dyspo's team secure victory, his reasoning being that there's no guarantee that the mighty Jiren can dispose of Goku and Vegeta in the time that remains. In return for the favour, the small price of using the Super Dragon Ball's wish to resurrect him. Dyspo actually is the one who refuses the help of Frieza here, maintaining his prideful morality and not working with evil. In response, Frieza coldly transforms into Golden Frieza yet again, sparking round 2. Dyspo reveals his own technique, Light Speed Mode, which actually overwhelms even Golden Frieza, and this time Gohan is the one to step in and come to Frieza's rescue. Gohan concocts a plan to restrain Dyspo from moving around, an effort to reduce his use of speed. Frieza forms a Death Beam Cage, one of the coolest attacks I've ever seen in Dragon Ball, and ensnares both Gohan and Dyspo inside it. The technique does expend a lot of energy, however, but Golden Frieza does just about enough to eliminate Dyspo, and subsequently Gohan from the tournament. Only 2 opposing fighters remain. Toppo is busy in a beam struggle with Android 17 before Frieza death beams him from behind. He openly mocks Android 17 for struggling and also mocks Toppo's supposed powers of justice. While still verbally degrading him, he also fires off more death beams at Toppo's back, all the while being preoccupied with 17's attack as well. Knowing Toppo is in a compromised position, Frieza delivers the finishing blow. Standing over Toppo's seemingly defeated body, he compares him to trash, mockingly stating that he should do his civil duty and drop him into the proper receptacle. He is the only character in the entire tournament to portray this kind of disrespect towards his opponents time after time. Toppo unveils that he's been hiding his God of Destruction form, and although Frieza tries to display nonchalance, he does ultimately get destroyed here. And destroyed a second time, not too long later, when he tells Top that he is not the only one with the power to destroy worlds, firing a very similar energy ball to the one that wiped out Namek's core all those years ago. but it's easily nullified by Top's destruction energy, and Frieza is embarrassingly, for the first time in the entire tournament since it began, absolutely annihilated by Top's new power. Luckily for Frieza, Vegeta eliminates Top, but Frieza is still clearly very angry about being embarrassed, so he channels his grudge towards Jiren. This small fight that's coming up next lasts only a minute, but is perhaps my favourite in the entire saga. Jiren is about to finish off Android 17, Goku and Vegeta before Frieza interrupts and attacks Jiren. What I love about this scene so much is Frieza is so outraged by being pushed around that he puts aside the rules of the tournament. He notices Jiren is the only one left, so that killing him, even though it's against the rules, wouldn't matter, because even if he is disqualified, his team would still win on numbers. This relentless need for bloodshed is very characteristic of Frieza, and why I love this scene so much.
There's no need to follow the rules anymore. You're the only one left! Take what you deserve! Death at the golden hands of Lord Frieza!
He is willing to invoke the wrath of the gods near him just because he's so angry, and wants to outlet that anger by killing Jiren. Ultimately, just like Top, he is no match for Jiren. That is until Ultra Instinct Goku tires down Jiren just enough to allow 17 and Frieza to pick up the pieces. Frieza mocks Jiren, recognizing that his stoic poker face is a distant memory, and also getting under his skin by mentioning his past, crossing a line only Frieza himself would have the cold heart to do. He doesn't seem very amused by the fact he has to team up with a robot, sarcastically stating how he is so privileged to be teaming up with 17. The two do manage to defeat Jiren, momentarily at least. Frieza states that he would have loved to have seen Jiren's face whilst he delivered this final blow, but after a pep talk from Top, Jiren finds his strength to fight back again. Trying his hardest to hold back Jiren's attack, Frieza loses his golden form. Goku comes to the rescue in the dying moments of the tournament. Frieza reminds Goku of his promise to him, to be resurrected. Goku fires back that he of all people should already know that Goku isn't the type to break a promise. Android 17 makes light of the conversation, recommending that the pair should hug it out, which Frieza hilariously declares that nothing would repulse him more. Frieza and Goku, once bitter rivals, work together and with the help of Android 17 overwhelm a faltering Jiren, whose own inner turmoil has left him questioning if trust really is a powerful force. Sacrificing his pride, Frieza tries to take Jiren out himself, which leaves Vegeta in complete disbelief. He asks Goku to throw him towards Jiren, in which Goku obliges by performing a volleyball-esque assist. Using momentum, Frieza charges into a clash with Jiren, before a soaring Goku comes to aid behind him, and the two of them together finally knock Jiren out and win the Tournament of Power. After the tournament is over, Frieza is gifted his reward of resurrection. Not by any set of Dragon Balls, but rather because Beerus thought he performed most admirably, a sentiment in which I wholeheartedly share as well. It was really fun seeing Frieza again and watching him maintain his evil persona, whilst also actually helping someone other than himself. I know it seemed like I glazed Frieza a lot in this video, but truth is, I don't think he is even in my personal favourite top 40 Dragon Ball characters. But having said that, I really enjoyed the addition of him in this arc and his contribution.